In the current climate, there's so much worship or idolization or value placed on growing like crazy. And this type of business growth does not sit well for our nervous systems as survivors. I want to normalize for you that it's okay to grow at a steady pace that suits you, and you don't have to run with a broken leg. You can earn a healthy living that pays the bills and stabilize yourself at that point. And then when you're at that point of safety and security in your life, then you can step it up another level. When you grow in this way, you're growing in alignment with what your body needs in a trauma-informed way. Kia ora and welcome back to Brand Breaker. You're with Lilia Tarawa. On this show, we talk about how to build a brand using your story. We platform marginalized voices and we discuss hard topics and dismantle systems of oppression. You might be telling yourself that having a successful big business means that you have to work hard. You have to work yourself into the ground, or you won't be able to be financially successful without being exhausted or being time poor. Or you might believe that you can't get the sleep and rest that you need and also have the financial success that you desire. So what are the beliefs that are running underneath of that? What are the stories that you're telling yourself about success in business that make this narrative true? There's a belief running around that in order to run a successful business and be what you would define as, quote, made it in life, that you have to buy into all of the grind and hustle culture and personal development growth culture. And that couldn't be further from the truth. The underlying theology of that is resulting in people who are burned out and exhausted, who are living their lives in complete misalignment with their own bodies and their own nervous system, their own strength and way of functioning and their own values and belief. And that mismatch is leading to work dissatisfaction or you wondering why you're not achieving the success and results that you want. The reason for this is because you're defining success based on the outcome of what others have achieved and not what you truly desire. And so first, it comes down to actually setting goals that are in alignment with you and what you really want in life, not aligned with the injected values of society around us or a business coach who you really love the look of their life or influences what you see, but what do you truly want? And really being able to sit with this question. So right now in my business, I'm incredibly busy. I'm growing a podcast, I'm running a launch, I'm committed to current clients to ensure that all of my work for them gets done and all of the deliverables that they require meet the standard. And what that means for me right now is that I'm relatively time poor in taking on new clients. This is my current bottleneck. And I was talking to my partner about this one night last week because I was saying, I know there are things that I can do and there are actions that I can take that are going to bring in a lot more clients for me. But the reason I haven't taken that step forward in that direction is because I have concerns about my current capacity and I don't want to grow beyond my current capacity. I know that's not going to be good for me as a trauma survivor. And there's a tension that needs to be acknowledged here where you're always wanting to work at your capacity for sure, and stretch yourself a little further than where you are, but it needs to be done in a safe way. So I've run a 7-figure business where we grew like crazy to the point that we could not take on more work because we were over capacity. And it was really important to me because I have this learning, this experience from my life, that I grow at a steady rate in all businesses which I grow, and a rate that is suitable for me and designed for my unique disposition. Now on social media a lot, there's been a lot of celebration about Jessie Jean's $1.2 million launch, and that's amazing. I love that for her. You go, girl. And I love that for someone who's obviously put in the work. I believe in cheerleading women and their success. However, I look at Jessie Jean's version of success and I think, oh my God, regardless of the money, that would be my worst nightmare because it would be so stressful for me as a trauma survivor to take on that level of growth. My nervous system would hate it. That's really important for me to listen to, even though the industry says, hey, this is what we should celebrate. This is what's trending. This is what success looks like. I have seen some of Jessie's videos where she's up at 4 a.m. in the morning and she's an incredibly busy business owner. I wouldn't want to be that activated in my business or having to get up at that time of the morning. And so it's so important to me to grow in a safer and more slow way when my nervous system stays regulated. So no hate to Jessie. Jessie, if you're listening to this for whatever reason, massive props for you. I love that for you. Your hard work is paid off. And I believe that women making money is the best fucking thing. So You go you, girl, you do you. Whether it's Maria Went or whether it's Layla Hermosi or Alex Hermosi, whatever brand it is, often what happens as small to medium business owners and creators, we compare ourselves to these really big brands who have massive businesses in place to support their growth. Or we think that success looks like what we see on social media. And it's really important for us to paint a picture of what success genuinely looks like to us and get really clear on what our vision truly is. For me, as a survivor of high control, coercive manipulation, and abusive religious cult, it's far more important for me to be able to grow my business in a way that's deeply aligned with what my nervous system needs, in a way that feels calm and peaceful and regulating to me. I'm very strategic. I plan. I do not like to be reactive in my business. And my strength is actually waiting and watching and planning and seeing opportunities that come across my path and then saying yes to them because I planned enough to allow myself to be ready for them. That is not potentially how you will grow your business. You may be someone who needs to be in the thick of it, who likes the stimulation, likes a bit of crazy in their business, and maybe you thrive on a bit of chaos. That's cool. That is your prerogative. And you're not me. This episode is here to let you know it's okay to build your way, and you get to choose. You get to have choices about the type of business model you want, the type of offer you want to create, how many hours you want to work, how much you actually want to earn, even if it's not in the 7-figure mark. Let's talk about 7 figures and making money, because there's a misconception around this idea of earning 7 figures. So let's be clear, 7 figures doesn't mean profit. 7 figures means that you generated 7 figures in revenue. And when it comes to business, the money you keep is more important than the money you make. So this means after you earn the 7 figures and pay all of your salaries, pay all of your business expenses, pay your ads and marketing budget, you yourself take a salary, what do you have left after that? Because that is actually how profitable and how successful your business is financially. That is the mark of how successful you are when it comes to business finances. It's a smarter financial decision to generate $100,000 on a lean business model of $30,000 expenses a year and take home $70,000 in profit than to generate $500,000 on a fat business model that costs $450,000 and take home $50,000 at the end of the year, which is $20,000 less than the $70,000 you were taking home when you generated $100,000 a year. There's a really important distinction to make when it comes to setting your financial goals. It's more important for you to get your profit right first and then to start scaling from a healthy financial position. However, yes, there is a business planning element where you can generate $500K to $1 million plus per year money in per year, and you do so on a lean business model. And you write off your expenses and structure your business to experience tax benefit. That is a much smarter strategy than simply idolizing this 7-figure mark. So what's important to understand here is that less isn't always more when it comes to a financially successful business. And deciding what you want to design with the business you're creating and getting the right business model that you can run it really lean is a really vital piece of your financial puzzle. Then there's the lifestyle piece. So when you own your business, how much freedom do you have with your time in the running of that business? How much joy do you experience in creating the offers and the products that you sell? What kind of lifestyle do you get to enjoy because you are able to travel for conferences and retreats and write that off as a business expense, or because you're able to buy yourself a new car, which is now an asset in the business and there's GST benefits on that, or you were able to upgrade your podcast studio and the entire cost of that was a business expense. And this reduces the profit you are generating, which in turn reduces the tax that you have to pay. So again, really important, what does success look like to you? What does a successful business look like to you? Because when you're really clear on that and you're really clear on what your values are, and when I talk about values, I'm talking about what are the things you spend your money on, what are the things you spend your time and energy and effort on, what are the behaviors that you take, what are the items you surround yourself with, what are your beliefs? Because when you're really clear about who you are and what you stand for and what you want in your life and what you want your business to look like and what's important for you to prioritize, then you can start building a business model and creating business systems that place you in opportunity for success. So the core idea is, how do you design a business to suit your current capacity while laying the groundwork for growth? The best example I have of this is recently where I had to choose a new platform to bring my clients across to. So when you know what you believe and you know what you value, you can make decisions in alignment with that. So when I was choosing the platform to bring my clients across to, school seemed like the obvious choice. My coach liked it, my clients liked it, but there was just not something sitting right with me about this platform. So what I decided to do is I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to rush this business decision. So my clients were looked after on the platform we're on. Even though it felt clunky and I didn't love it, it still did the job. And I didn't like things like bugs that were happening to it, and it was yuck to me, but it was still working for my clients. It was more that I didn't like it. And I wanted my clients to have a premium experience, and I wanted also to have a good experience myself so that I would love and enjoy spending time on my community. School, also from what I had researched, didn't feel like it was in alignment with me because it was a little bit too simple. I have a web development background, and I didn't also like the brand of school itself. Like, I don't mind using the platform, but I don't love it. And there are some values that I just do not align with the owners of school and the investors of school. So I thought to myself, well, a year ago, I had to pay for a subscription because we were getting the podcast edited, and I paid for a subscription because I was like, we'll pay a year in advance and we'll just do this. Got things up and running, and we didn't end up using that subscription. So I promised to myself, okay, I'm not going to rush this time. I'm going to take my time and think about it and properly understand if actually this is what I want and this is the platform that I need. Because that mistake and that failure of paying for a year's worth of a subscription that I didn't need taught me that it's okay for me to take time to make decisions. We talk about this in the Academy, Bestseller Brand Academy. We talk about your assertive rights, knowing you have the option to step away, to make decisions without pressure. I'm a reflective person. It's really important for me to line up the team, say, hey, what do you think? And make decisions that feel aligned with me and take time to reach those decisions, even if it means missing out on an opportunity. That's an important choice for me, and I prioritize that because that's what I value. Because I made that mistake initially, I was able to come back and apply it to this decision about what platform I was going to bring my clients onto. So after taking my time doing my research, I found a platform where I loved the ethos and the values of the company, and it had a huge amount of customizability, which for me as a web designer and developer and someone who's deeply experienced in building business models and systems, it felt really aligned for me because it gave me freedom. As I was doing my research, I found out that this platform had the ability to build spaces in a customized way that I wanted to be able to control the experience that my clients have inside of that space. And that was super important to me, to be able to design the experience I want my clients to have and not be locked into a platform in the way they want it to be done. And I wanted my clients to be onboarded in the way that I felt was good for them. So whereas some more simplistic models don't offer that level of customizability. Now, I'm not saying school's not a great platform. The downfall of the platform that I did find was that it was a bit more expensive once you start getting into some of the more high-end features. And I like to run a really lean business model where I'm not overspending on subscriptions just for the sake of it, or tools that I don't need. So I went, I am going to start with this more expensive option, but I'm just going to start on the lowest plan possible because I don't need some of the other newsletter functionalities and automations right now. I've got that covered by other software platforms that I've already paid for that do solve those issues for me. I just wanted to solve the issue of having a buggy app. Underneath all of that is making good business decisions. And that's something that's super important, is your connection to yourself, your ability to listen in on yourself, to decide whether a business decision or any decision in life is aligned with your values, and then designing the business you want in relation to your own values. Now I'm on this new platform and oh my God, I fucking love it. Like, all the graphics I create for it, I love uploading them. I've been able to automate so many of the little tasks that I take on in my community. I can drop audio messages in there. It's got high-end features too that my clients love and which I love, and the way that it embeds graphics just looks so great. The user interface is great. The user experience is just brilliant, and that was super important for me. And I'm so happy with my choice, and I'm so happy that I waited and I didn't rush and I didn't just follow what my coach was doing or follow what other people were saying worked for them. I actually stopped and I asked myself, what works for me? This is the piece. Give yourself permission to build your business in alignment with your own desires and your own values, not in alignment with what the industry determines success to looks like or trying to copy someone else's model.